Chapter 21. Clara. "We're coming!" Dewdrop cried. "Lower the drawbridge!" God snapped to attention, immediately turning a large wheel to lower the drawbridge, leading onto the palace grounds. Philip and Clara raced across, followed by the troops Dewdrop had guided out from the desolation of the fourth realm. They had made it back. They were safe, and they had the key. "Clara?" Sugarplum called, stepping out from the shadows where she'd been hiding. She couldn't let the other regents know she had been part of this renegade mission. "I have it!" Clara exclaimed proudly. "I have the key!" She held up the shiny golden key her mother had made so long ago. Sugarplum's face broke into an enormous smile.
What are you reading?
"My book?"
Why are you not going to read my book?
"I will." "You're a wonderful girl," she cheered, spinning Clara around in delight. She drew Clara in for a warm embrace, and for just the briefest of moments, Clara almost imagined it was her mother hugging her, proud of her success. She didn't even notice Sugarplum take the key from her grasp before the sweets regent said, "Now quickly, to the engine room."
Mommy,
Sugarplum, Philip, and Clara.
Where in my book?
It's right there.
Oh.
Sugarplum, Philip, and Clara whisked through the palace and down the secret staircase to the engine room, Dewdrop trailing behind in a flurry of sparks. Guards were waiting there for them, ready to open the engine room door. Sugarplum swept past and leaped up onto the control panel, the golden key in hand. "Put it in!" Dewdrop exclaimed, buzzing back and forth. Sugarplum held the key up. It glinted in the lamplight. "Finally," she whispered, "the realms will get what they need, what they have waited so long for." In one swift motion, she inserted the key into the keyhole. But when she went to turn it, it didn't work. It wouldn't even budge. Sugarplum tried again. Nothing. It remained firmly in place. Sugarplum's expression melted from elation to fury as she tried forcing the key either way to no avail. "It won't turn!" she cried in anger. "Ugh!" She flung the key onto a pile with the other rejected keys of the past. But Clara wasn't ready to give up. "It has to be the right key," she insisted. "Why would Mother Ginger want it otherwise?" Clara picked the tiny golden treasure up from the pile and examined it. Its handle was in the shape of an ornate bow. But what was this? The bow could turn, changing the shape of the key's teeth. "Look," she cried. "It's got moving teeth and a dial on the bow. I think it might—" "Yes! Look, Sugarplum! The key changes shape!" Sugarplum's face instantly transformed back into the picture of eager perfection. "Come along, Clara! Quickly! Mother Ginger's army will be upon us!" Clara stepped up to the control panel and fit the key in. But this time, she twisted the bow until the teeth matched the keyhole inserts. With a satisfying thunk, it sank into place. Clara turned it, and it went smoothly to the right without any resistance. Everyone watched and waited. For a nerve-wracking moment, nothing happened. Then, very slowly, gears began to turn, screeching as though they hadn't been oiled in years. Pistons began to pump, steam hissed, and fan belts whirred. A deep chugging sound echoed from somewhere deep inside the engine. Clara watched proudly as the engine hummed to life, her mother's finest invention, working once more. Sugarplum watched as well, her smile oddly twisted. Then she walked over to a bucket and picked it up. She carried it to the platform and dumped out its contents. Toy tin soldiers, at least 2 dozen of them.
Can you please read my book?
Yes, scattered beneath the engine's tube. I think it was designed to make one at a time, Clara pointed out. "Oh, we haven't time for that, I'm afraid," Sugarplum said smoothly. "Just press the button, my sweet." "But," Clara protested, "the realms are at stake, Clara, darling dearest." Sugarplum's eyes flashed. "Press the button!" Uncertainly, Clara did as she was told. She stepped up to the control panel and pushed a large red button. A bright beam of light shot out onto the platform, hitting all the tin soldiers at once. One by one, they each enlarged springing to life. But something was wrong. Instead of full-size soldiers like Philip or the guards, these soldiers were transforming into half-size figures, deformed and with sinister faces. "You see," Clara said. "We shouldn't have put more than one." "I see exactly," Sugar Plum said, silencing her focus entirely upon the growing army of grotesque tin soldiers. "Attention!" The army turned to face her, smiling and scowling. "Quick march!" Sugar Plum ordered. The tin soldiers marched off of the platform, heading for the doorway that led up the staircase. Clara watched in confusion as Sugar Plum took an even larger bucket of soldiers and dumped it onto the platform. "Thank you so much, Clara," Sugar Plum said sweetly. "Guards, lock them up." "What?" Clara sputtered as the guards who had let them into the engine room grabbed hold of her by the arms. "Take your hands off her," Philip demanded. He drew his sword, but a guard quickly knocked it from his grasp using the hilt of his weapon. He hit Philip across the back, overpowering him. The guards pinned Philip's and Clara's arms behind their backs and forced them toward the door. Meanwhile, Sugar Plum dumped bucket upon bucket of tin soldiers onto the platform. "Sugar Plum, please, what are you doing?" Clara begged, twisting back to look at her mother's friend. "Your mother was all for letting everybody decide things together, bless her," Sugar Plum sneered. All pretense of sweetness and decorum were gone from Sugar Plum's manner. Her voice dripped with disdain. "Leaving 4 regions to work together while she was just far too busy with a sweet family to bother stopping by. I was her first creation. Me. I was perfect. If anyone was meant to run the realms, it was me. Not those bumbling idiots Shiver and Hawthorne, and certainly not Mother Ginger." Clara watched in horror as Sugar Plum hit the engine button again, and the sickening, horrible truth dawned on her. She lied. Clara's mind reeled while rows upon rows of twisted, ugly tin soldiers popped to life like hideous toy goblins. It was all lies. Sugar Plum never wanted to save the realms. She just wanted to get her the key so she can make her own army, to rule them. Mother Ginger tried to warn me, but I didn't listen. It was you who destroyed the 4th realm, wasn't it? Yes.
I want you to read my book.
I will. Clara struggled angrily against the guards. Mother Ginger isn't the traitor. You are! Sugar Plum walked over and gripped Clara's chin in her fingers. "Clever girl," she mocked. "Isn't that what your mother used to call you? Clever girl?" Clearly not clever enough. What she saw in you is beyond me. But all her mistakes will now be rectified. Sugar Plum plucked another bucket from the ground and hurled its contents onto the platform. She pressed the button. "Take them away."